The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Happy Monday. It's the 24th day of February 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman. And folks, how are you feeling? Like, is everyone excited for a new week? The final week of the second month of 2025? We've made it through. How's everybody feeling today? Let me know. David Michael Wilson says a marvelous Monday all, and a marvelous Monday to you as well, David Michael Wilson, and to everyone who's rocking with us today. How's everyone feeling? Are we excited? I found a post I put up years ago this morning. I said, man, I really do get excited about Mondays. And I think that happens when you love what you do. When you love what you do, when you appreciate that you have some great meetings on this week, or maybe it could be I don't have a life. I don't know. That could be the other side. But when you love what you do, you really, really, every day is a great day, right? And today, I'm excited because, today is one of those things where the guest kind of defines why this show exists. So greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today, as we welcome the first Black Bermudian chartered public accountant, the Honorable Jeanne Atherden, onto the show. I'm looking forward to this conversation. You all know me when it comes to Black history. I don't like the idea of doing what the Americans do and putting Black history to 1 month. But unfortunately, or fortunately, we had a general election in Bermuda, so we did not get to really have conversations and celebrate and honor people. So I'm very excited to honor and celebrate someone who really should be celebrated a bit more, especially with the amount of Bermudians today who are chartered public accountants or CPAs. One of the people behind this show, Keitha, she is a CPA. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation, to honor and to celebrate. The daily play is Bermuda Trivia today. All right, Bermuda Trivia. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right. Well, you know how the show goes, folks. Yes, and Suzanne Ingham, she says, an awesome moving Monday. Jamel, I missed you. TDH, it was a long weekend without hearing you for 2 days. Awesome Monday indeed. TDH is back, and we miss you as well. We miss you, Suzanne. So some things happened. So on Friday, about the close of business on Friday, there was a news report. And in that news report, it was made known that the chairman of the Bermuda Tourism Authority, Wayne Keynes, had resigned. Yep. Now, we've got to have a conversation. Because if you go back to the first week of January, you'd be reminded that a certain, yours truly, called for the resignation of Mr. Keynes from the Bermuda Tourism Authority. And the reason I did that then, if you didn't watch the show or hear what I said, was because of the failures of the organization. Let me be clear to the employees at the BTA. Sit down. This is not about you. Breathe. Relax. Focus on yourself and your career development. This is not about you. This is about the leadership of the Bermuda Tourism Authority. The leadership of the Tourism Authority and you as an employee are not one and the same. You are not one in the same. All right? So let me continue by saying, Wayne Keynes needs to be step one. Let me just explain. I took some notes. You know, I'm traveling, so I don't have my whiteboard with me, so forgive me. But I took some notes. And there's a reason that I called for the resignation of Mr. Keynes at the time. And one of those reasons is there had been multiple reports of letters written to the board by current and past employees, right? Some of those made it across my eyes, and the public deserves to see them as well. This is a publicly funded organization that was created to improve Bermuda's tourism product. It has no business being treated like a political football. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for government administrations. While I believe hoteliers should be involved in the Bermuda Tourism Authority as far as board level, David Dudwell, in my opinion, I say it humbly, respectfully, should have never been involved as a politician. Though he was not elected at the time, he was voted out in 2007. Too close to me. So then you give the opportunity, as I said before, for the PLP government to do what they do. We have a chairman who replaced Paul Telford, who has absolutely all ego and no experience in anything. What, a junior minister as a senator? We then have a Bermudian with all the experience, successful experience it needed in tourism, who is appointed as the Bermuda Tourism Authority CEO, right? We all love a Black Bermudian story, correct? And within a year, he's gone from the organization. Now, I don't know why, but there's a pattern here. There's a pattern of employees leaving. As someone joked yesterday, the BTA has more departures than Miami's airport. Funny, but seems to be true. And you, the public, deserve to know. So, from what's come across my eyes, it looks like there was some alleged abusive behavior taking place in the organization that was not being dealt with. And it seemed that anyone who played a part in bringing things to the attention of those responsible was basically being targeted. This is alleged. But I want the audience to ask themselves something, because we have a culture where we don't hold people accountable. Just look at the carnage of young men being murdered. And ask yourself, how many of them have seen justice? How many of those families have seen justice? We see it in politics. No accountability. We have an opportunity to make sure that the buck stops with the Bermuda Tourism Authority. We had the Commissioner of Police on recently, Darren Simons, who addressed head on the internal report. We've had Zach Moniz from Lindo's, come on, when people were, complaining, or not complaining, but had voicing their concerns about the cost of groceries in Bermuda. And he came on and he faced them head on. But what we get from the Bermuda Tourism Authority when people are leaving, and we know what's happening because Bermuda's small enough where we have families, we have friends who are tied into this. And we know what's going on. And for them to continue to try to dismiss stuff, for them to continue to act like everyone's just making things up and it's one side of the story, well, let's do this. Make the letters public so the entire public can see them. And again, I'm going to say this one more time. BTA employees, this is not your fight. Sit down. Because if you didn't need a job, you would be just as honest. If you didn't think you would be targeted because of what's happened to some of your former colleagues, you would be speaking up as well. This is not about you. It's about the leadership. And we're actually trying to help you get better leadership so that going forward, the environment is a bit better. This is a publicly funded organization that deserves better leadership from the board level down. So the question to the audience, and I don't know if you saw the front page this morning, the Royal Gazette, but question of the morning, what do you believe should happen with the Bermuda Tourism Authority? And do you believe that the Bermuda Tourism Authority has been a success? Do you believe that it has been a success? But I'm going to go over to our friends at the Royal Gazette, right? Because they have a story for us this morning. Yeah, top story on the top page. It says BTA weighs public interest on release of settlement data. So it says, a decision has yet to be made by the Bermuda Tourism Authority on whether access to information about spending on any settlement packages or separation agreements for former employees is in the public interest. Well, why isn't it in the public interest? Ask yourself that. Records released to the Royal Gazette confirmed that 30 people left the organization in just over 2.5 years. The departures included 23 staff members who resigned or left through mutual separation between June 1st, 2022 and January 8th, 2025. And my ears have heard over this weekend that we lost 2 more. So that would make 32 who have resigned up until now. That, for an organization of about 40 employees, that's a travesty. That's a travesty. And I know, look, let's be clear. You know, Dave Chappelle said the other night when he was hosting Saturday Night Live, he said, Donald Trump, we know you watching. BTA, I know you're watching. And I know if you're not watching, someone's sending you a clip. And I'm speaking to you. Because the same way we asked for Wayne Keynes to resign, I'm asking the leadership to do the same. And you all can sit there and say it's sour grapes all you want. Sour grapes may be, but it ain't a lie. The truth is the truth. I am disappointed. Extremely disappointed. And I'm gonna say this because we love to put it on the government. The Bermuda Tourism Authority, as controlling as you may think, David Byrd, or who was the tourism minister before Owen Darrell? Was it Vance Campbell? This organization's been left to the board. The board has had 2 PLP MPs, the former MP Wayne Keynes and Kim Swan. This organization needs to be gutted. Gutted. See, the hope is that things are forgotten. I haven't forgotten that we finally got a Black Bermudian in that position who came with, we love to talk about qualifications, right? Remember, Kamala Harris, the most qualified person. We had that. And we allowed an ego-driven man to drive that person out. Let's go to the audience. What do you believe should happen with the Bermuda Tourism Authority? And do you believe that the Bermuda Tourism Authority has been a success? Rhonda Johnson says, The BTA has not been a success. It should be dismantled and returned under the government at the Department of Tourism. Interesting. I think Honorable Mark Bean had said something similar, that if the government continues to fund it, it should be returned under government. Okay. Suzanne Ingham says, Jamel, sit down, breathe. It's not about you. Well stated, Jamel. I just love your honesty and straight to the point words. Okay, well, thank you, Suzanne. She says, keep saying it loud, Jamel, and keep saying it loud. East and West Ends need to hear it a little louder. Keep it coming, Jamel. What else, audience? What do you believe should happen with the Bermuda Tourism Authority? Like, what are your thoughts? How can we get the best of the organization? And also, do you believe it has been a success? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, has the organization delivered on its mandate? Sean Smith says it should fulfill its mandate and be 100% private. And no, it's not been a success. The mandate is to get heads in beds. And while they may say, well, percentage-wise, we have delivered that. And I've not put this on the BTA. Let's be very clear. Bermuda Tourism lost 593 rooms. 593 rooms when the Fairmont Southampton shut. When they shut that hotel down, that's a big loss. Now, how is that a big loss? Well, that's your conference hotel. That's your event hotel. There's no more big State Farm meetings coming down, or conferences, and they don't have the space. Now, the next up is Hamilton Princess, which I believe has about 400 rooms. But it just is not as big. So they were impacted. The Bermuda Tourism Authority has been impacted by things beyond their control. But did they downsize? Did they shift focus? And then we need to ask ourselves, well, what qualifications do the people in leadership have to be in those positions? What are the qualifications? See, some of you will sit here and say, oh, Jamal's complaining and tearing people down. No, actually, I'm trying to lift people up. I'm trying to lift the staff, lift the organization, and lift the country. Because tourism has failed Bermudians. It's failed us. When that tourism authority was set out, it was a clear plan. We can sit here and debate the America's Cup all we want. What I will say is, maybe I wasn't a fan of it. Maybe I don't understand sailing and don't care for it. But one thing I would say, when I was on the road, Bermuda was finally in the mouths of a lot of people we wanted to speak about it. Bermuda was mentioned as a destination that they no longer forgot about and thought was for the nearly dead or something like that. That's what they used to tell me in Boston. The Bermuda Tourism Authority has failed Bermuda. And the same disdain that people seem to have for, and rightfully so, the PLP government, we've got to raise our game. The Bermuda Tourism Authority, you know the salaries. You got people being paid $200,000, $300,000 for what? I don't like the guy. Well, I don't know him, but I don't like him based on what I know. But Elon Musk is literally running the United States of America right now. But if he's done 100 things, one thing I actually agree with he's done. One thing. You all may not agree, but last week, he asked all federal employees to report what they did at work this past week. I actually don't have a problem with that, because there are too many people making big time money and delivering very little results. Not on the public dime that should be happening. If we don't accept it from a politician, we definitely shouldn't accept it from someone working for government or a government quango. Let's go back to the audience. Again, folks, do you believe that the Bermuda Tourism Authority has been a success? And what do you believe should happen with the organization? What do you believe should happen with the organization? So we've got Sean DeShield says the BTA has had an extremely unsuccessful track record and should have been privatized long ago as promised. Yeah. I think it was 3 to 5 years it was supposed to be privatized. I got you. Alan Kate Horton says, no, we are paying a billionaire to get the hotel getting built again. Again, something I disagree with, and I think the Honorable Curtis Dickinson, I ride with him on that. Rhonda Johnson says, I think the original plan was flawed and no way it was going to be successful. Fair enough. Fair enough. Teray Toll says the BTA has had a great slate of CEOs, talent previously, but they never stay. So I genuinely don't know. They have had some serious success like America's Cup, but talent retention is a huge problem. Okay. I mean, that's in the proof. Rhonda Johnson says America's Cup is a debt to the host country. Well, the Olympics, World Cup, there are very few nations that don't have debt from, big events, right? But the purpose of the event is to help in other areas, meaning whether it's tourism, jobs for people, entrepreneurship. It's supposed to be long-term. I'll use Atlanta, right? I live in Atlanta. 1996 changed Atlanta forever. Now, if you ask some people who are from the heart of Georgia, they hate it because too many people live there now, right? And Atlanta traffic is horrible. But the Olympic Games in Atlanta, I mean, it's the Mecca of Black America. It's one of the best cities. I mean, you pretty much have a Hollywood of the Southeast with the movie production companies there. My point is, the America's Cup could have been great. Well, it possibly was great. I didn't read the PwC report. I think it was PwC or Deloitte that did it, but it possibly was great. But I guess that comes down to opinions. Farah Palacio says, there are people in the community who do a better job with promoting Bermuda and its traditions and its people than the actual BTA. Well, I won't disagree with that. I think the best salespeople for Bermuda are Bermudians, period. I think we do a wonderful job of that. All right, so we've got a very special guest today. I just want to give a shout out to Patrick Tannock as well as Kathy Duffy. Patrick Tannock and Kathy Duffy were honored recently for Black History, and he did reach out to me this weekend. I've got to watch the videos, but I got to show love, and it just so happens that we have another person that I believe has not been honored or celebrated enough today. We've got the Honorable Jeanne Atherden coming on, and I really hope, especially young Black women, tuned in this morning, because I love when people are encouraged. I always say, 2008 was a game changer in the world, not just the United States, because it was the first time that Black people, or anyone who's not a white person, got to see a Black person in a position like the United States president. And for that, a child for the first time could look and say, wow, that can be me too. So it does mean something. It does mean something. And so I'm excited to have the Honorable Jeanne Atherden on after the break. Real quickly, what I will say is we, as of Friday, if you go on thedailyhour.com, we have heard a lot of people who say that they would love to financially support the Daily Hour. You no longer have to go to YouTube and become a member of our YouTube channel. You can actually just go on our website, and you have an option. You can give $1, or you can give whatever you choose to do, but you can actually do that through our website now if you go on there. Also, tickets to the gala are now available for purchase on the website as well. So you can just scroll down and you will see the option to purchase tickets for our gala, which is taking place on April 26th. The gala is going to be a night of celebration, honoring people, celebrating the milestone of 5 years and 1,000+ episodes. I think we hit 1,100 episodes this week, folks. Yeah, that's big. 1,100 episodes of this show, live episodes, I should say, because we've had recorded and we've had special episodes, but 1,100 live episodes. So we'll be celebrating all of that with a night of community and love. So if you are able and available on April 26th, hit us up. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back after the break with the Honorable Jeanne Atherden. Get your questions ready. She was Bermuda's first Black chartered accountant. Is that not something to celebrate, folks? Do not go anywhere. We'll be back in, let's see how much time. 2 minutes. I know some of you time us. 2 minutes, 44 seconds. Stick with us.
Join us as we celebrate 5 years and 1,000 plus episodes of community conversations on Bermuda's daily talk show. The Daily Hour Gala takes place on April 26th at LF Wade International Airport. For more information and advance tickets, please send an email to admin@bermudacommunications.com. We look forward to celebrating all that's great about our community with all of you.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high quality functional products can't be stylish and comfortable at the same time?
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Microloan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses. Whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment, we provide 100% guarantee on approved loans. Simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Bermuda Trivia, the Black History Edition, is now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Visit bermudatrivia.com or email contact@bermudatrivia.com to learn more.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, I forgot days of the year. So days of the year today. It's World Bartender Day. World Bartender Day. And I just want to give props to every bar in the world for this reason. You all know it's about 6 years me not drinking alcohol this year. But I went to what's the place called Boundary last night. I went to Boundary, and man, they had like a whole list of mocktails. And you know me, first thing I had, I'm not a soda and grenadine guy. Like, you got to be creative. I had this kiwi mocktail last night, man. Delicious. So all that to say, big up to all the bartenders, people who have made a career of, you know, as it changes, because it used to be, you know, some people look at it, oh, just getting people drunk, but it's a creativity. It's a skill set. So I will go to a bar and get me a mocktail today in honor of that. So let me know where in Bermuda I can go to get me a nice mocktail today. You all let me know in the audience where I can go get a mocktail. And let me know, what's your favorite mocktail? Let us know what your favorite mocktail. In the meantime, let's give a warm TDH welcome to our guest for the day. She's Bermuda's first chartered public accountant, the Honorable Jeanne Atherden. Put your hands together, audience. Okay, calm down, calm down, calm down. Good morning and happy Monday to you, madam.
Good morning. Happy Monday to everybody out there.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm really good.
I love to hear it. I love the pink. I love the pink, the black. I must say that's one of my favorite combinations to wear. She came prepared, folks. Let me ask you first, before we jump into the conversation today, do you have a favorite drink that you like to get when you go in honor of World Bartenders Day, like a mocktail, maybe a cocktail, like something that you love?
I'm chuckling because I've gotten to the stage where I love my Heineken Zero.
Okay.
So, I really like that. I mean, hey, we all have drinks that we've loved, a nice glass of wine, but
yep.
I think about my health sometimes, and then a nice glass of Malbec, but Heineken Zero is great for all the time.
Yep. You know what? That was my first go-to drink when I stopped drinking alcohol. Heineken Zero was one of my favorites. And then I realized I was a bit lazy and, it still had that thing that could pop my belly. And I don't have great genes, folks. So some of us don't have it. But thank you once again for making time for us today for this conversation. I don't think that we do a great job in Bermuda of celebrating, honoring, and teaching generations about people like yourself. So hopefully this morning, by the time this conversation's over, people will be inspired to share, just like how they've learned about the Kathy Duffys and Patrick Tannock stories, and they will share them because the information is going to be in front of us. It's about what we share with others. So before we jump into your career and profession, just tell the audience a bit about your background and, what are some of the things that you like to do on your off time?
Right. Well, I like to golf. I met my husband through golf, and so I try to golf as much as I can, but I really love my downtime too. So when I was in Bermuda, and I think I'm going to say this because I'm hoping people understand. When I was in Bermuda, I went to Berkeley, and Mansfield Brock was my physics teacher. Loved Mansfield, loved physics. I had decided ever since I was a child that I was going to be a doctor. So I had already had my application into McGill to go into science because that's where I was going. And Mansfield Brock said to the physics class, the next career that you should think about is accounting, that there's great opportunities out there, that you should think about it. And I thought, sounds interesting, but I already have my application into McGill, and so off I went. And I will tell you this, I went from Berkeley straight to McGill. I didn't go to sixth form. I went straight up there. I'm a person that has always believed, why waste time? Do things as quickly as you can. Don't waste time. Don't waste your life if you can go directly. So I went to commerce and got there, and I went to science, got there, and I was cutting off this in this biology class, and I thought, I don't like this. I don't see myself forever. So I went to my professors and I said, if I wanted to switch to commerce, what do I need to do? And they said that just make sure you get through your year and you switch over from year one into year two. And that's what I did. I switched to year two. I looked at all the things that needed to be done. And I said, these are the courses that you need to take to graduate. Normally should. And they had something called a licentiate in accounting, which meant that if you took all of these courses in university, then you didn't have to take courses at that point in time, everybody knows that you have to take night courses, because that's the thing that you have to do when you are a chartered accountant. You have to go to these schools and you take things at night, and you're working during the day and schooling at night. But if you take these courses in university, it meant that they gave you credit for what you had tonight. And
but when Mr. Brock said that, and then obviously you went to major in one thing, and then you decided you wanted to go another route. Were you even aware, though? Were you even aware that taking this route, and if successful in taking this route and maintaining that accountant route and achieving CPA status, were you aware that you would be the first Black Bermudian to do it?
No, I didn't. I just knew that this was something that I wanted to do. And do you know, and you know what came out later? I didn't realize later, because some people just reached out to me earlier last year, that I actually became one of the pioneering Black professional accountants in Canada.
Wow.
So there were a few of us who just became pioneering Black accountants in Canada, not just in Bermuda. And so at that point in time, it was like, I think this sounds interesting, and off I went.
Wow, that's incredible. And when you look at your career, I mean, we're still living in a time where many women speak out about the challenges they faced in the corporate sector. What are some of the challenges you faced as a Black person and a woman, and how did you overcome them?
Well, the first challenge, when I sometimes speaking to people, I just say this: thank goodness it has changed over time. When I was in university, you had to go and work with firms of professional accountants. So you had to go to interviews, and I remember I ticked off about 4 of the big 4 accounting firms, and I went to this interview, and the gentleman told me that he was not going to invite me for a second interview because he thought that women only were there looking for husbands, and therefore I wasn't going to finish my degree. And I just looked at him in amazement and laughed. But I went to another firm, and they said they were going to offer me the job because they believed women were going to be the future. And they said if we worked out really well, they would hire some more women after that. So myself and another girl, we were the first 2 women that the firm had ever hired. And you know what? The next year they hired 6. So that told me that women were on the rise, but we just had to make sure that we did what we had to do to prove that women can just do whatever, and women can multitask.
I mean, audience, am I wrong in this? I mean, that's a trailblazer move right there. And I don't chuckle, but I find it quite interesting that it was said that women are coming here to look for a husband. That's something that may get someone in a lot of trouble today.
Definitely. Today it would get them in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Audience, if you have any questions or comments for the Honorable Jeanne Atherden, again, Bermuda's first Black chartered accountant. This is Black history. This is Black history, folks. We spoke about the challenges and some things you overcame. When you look at the amount of people, Black people, young women who are becoming CPAs in Bermuda today, what are you thinking? Because I guarantee you, some of them probably don't even know your story, but what are you thinking when you see them? Does it make you proud to see that, they're following something that, again, at the time, you didn't even think you were becoming the first to do?
Proud. But the one thing I do, I try to say to people, think about this. When you're a professional accountant, you're going into lots of firms, you're doing your auditing work, you're doing whatever the firm sends, but you're seeing businesses at a high level, and you're interacting with account managers, management. You're interacting them in such a way that you could say to yourself, I think that this is a profession, or this is a institution that I would be interested in. And so you get an opportunity, if you will, to see into organizations that later on you could come, if you have your degree and you have an interest, you can get in at a higher level than just starting at just an entry level. So I say to people, accounting has always been the way to see the possibilities out there, and therefore do it as quickly as you can so that you can get on with life.
Indeed. When you look back at your career in accounting, what are you most proud of?
Well, I'm proud of trying to give people up the opportunities, and it's ironic that we had this discussion because I was at the Princess Gala on Friday celebrating Kathy and Patrick. And every time Patrick sees me, he reminds me that I gave him his start at the hospital. And so I just say, if you have the opportunity, and if I have the opportunity, I always want to open doors for young people who you see have talent and give them the opportunity to find their way, because that's what should happen. People did that for me, so why am I not doing it for the people behind me?
And I think you just answered the question. We've got a lot of questions coming through for you. Charles H. Jeffs II, he asks, that's awesome that Ms. Atherden was the first. What did she do to be intentional, not to be the last? And I think you just answered that. Let's go to Mark Arthur C. Phillips has quite a few questions. He's asking, how has the accounting industry changed over the years? Do you miss the old days?
Well, no, in the sense that, yes, maybe when we first started, accounting was auditing. And I must admit, I just saw it evolving. Even before, when I left Canada, I started to get involved in statistical sampling and computers, etc. It was changing then. Look at it now. I mean, accounting firms, they do. I mean, I did tax work before I left Canada. I see now that firms are doing engagements where they get more involved in a management, sometimes management roles. I think the one thing that I realized that accountants have always strived to make sure that we didn't do is that we do audits, we do things where we say to the public, we've looked at this firm and we're satisfied that the results that you see are fair. Now, we have to make sure that we don't do other things that compromise our ability to be independent, because that's the mark of the professional accountants, the independency. But in terms of being able to opine on lots of things, you have to. And even the studying that the people who want to be chartered accountants do now, you do many things that will enable you to go into many different industries. You don't have to be an auditor anymore. You now can go in and be anything that's related to business.
Indeed. Thank you for that. We have Michelle White asking, at what point did you discover that you were a trailblazer? What was your reaction?
I mean, I knew that I was a trailblazer as it relates to my firm, in terms of, as I say, hiring 2 and then hiring 6 after that, and then going after that. I didn't realize that I was the first chartered accountant a chartered professional accountant, Black, in Canada, until someone reached out to me. They were doing a project in Canada trying to do this research. And that sort of surprised me, but made me feel good in the sense that I was going to follow something that was good for me. And I was satisfied and happy that other people came behind us, because you really want to believe that other people know about what you're doing. And in Bermuda, I try and have conversations with young people, especially women, about opportunities. And I have a rule of thumb for myself that says, touch it once, know what you want to do, get on with it. Don't start messing around, get on with things. Life is too short. Just touch it once and move.
This is amazing. And I agree with Farrah Palacio here. This is an amazing story. And I wish we actually studied our trailblazers more in the schools and the general public. Indeed. I want to ask the audience something. Audience, did you know that the Honorable Jeanne Atherden was Bermuda's first Black chartered accountant, and Canada's in this saying that? But audience, yes or no? Don't be embarrassed, because I only found out last year, but did you know this? Yes or no? And while they answered that, Sean Smith's asking, why did you choose CA/CPA over CMA? What's CMA? Sorry, my ignorance.
Of course, I went to university in Montreal, and I went to McGill. And the idea of the professional chartered accountancy was something that I believed was the direction that I wanted to go. Not that I didn't recognize that the CMAs had their area of expertise, but I believed that I wanted to get into being able to do the audit opinion and being able to delve into things that were happening, and therefore the CPA route was the best for me.
Got it. Well, I did ask the audience, did they know? And over on YouTube, no one knew apparently. Mark Arthur C. Phillips said no. Charles H. Jefferson II says no. Leslie White on Facebook says no. Sean Smith says no. WKD Lama, no. Dawn Farbit says no. NTS says no. Marquita Lee says no. Allison Daniel says, I did. Well, that sounds like someone you know.
Yes.
We've got Suzanne Ingham, no. No, says Shawnette Bell, no. And please tell me why they gave me a year of American history, says Vera Palacio. Cindy Lambert said no. Earl Trott said no. Hedley and Swan says no. Jewel Eve says no. Karen Simmons says yes. Jamal, you told us on TDH last year. Well, I did. When I found out, I shared it with you because I don't keep information to myself. I want to help you. But Renee Simmons says yes. Also knew she was the first female controller at KEMH. See, I didn't know that either. You've got a lot of firsts, madam. I mean, look, and you're very humble in this because, you've done other things and no one knew a lot of this stuff about you. But as we learn more about people like yourself and what the paths you help create for others, what advice do you give to young people who aspire to do something to become the first? Before you came on, I mentioned Barack Obama, right? If nothing else, whether you liked President Barack Obama or not, he was the first person who was not, white to sit in that position, a white male, I should say, to sit in that position. And now other people, it led to a vice president who was also, again, a woman and a woman of color. Now people the world over can look at these positions and say, okay, so you can be different. You can be a different gender or race. When you see there are still maybe positions that have not seen a woman or a black person, what would you say? Like, what advice would you give to someone who wants to get into a space where it's maybe male dominant and they want to make a difference?
Well, first thing I would say to them, reach out to anybody that you know that's in their space. Mm-hmm. And most people like me, I'm very approachable. I used to get together. I tried to get a group of women so that we could talk about glass ceilings. We could talk about what you want to do. And I rue the fact that years ago, you used to have things where schools would invite people to come in and talk to them about professions and would talk about, what was it like when you were coming along, and so you could learn from history. And that's something that I think should be reintroduced. Schools should have the opportunity to talk to the people that are out there that are could be their role models. You don't have to go in and look to somebody that's off the island. You've got lots of people on the island who have done things. And I think most people do it without going up and pumping up their chest and saying, I'm the first. They get on doing whatever they should be doing. And if someone comes and says, well, what about this? How did this happen to you? I think a lot of people would be very willing to share their stories, because I, like a lot of other people, I enjoyed what I'm doing. I enjoyed the interaction. I enjoyed meeting the people. And I want to see people develop on this island, because anybody that's here, we need to be using them to the best of their ability, because Bermuda doesn't have enough people.
Yeah, indeed. When I, again, my business partner, we were doing our MBA together, and she was doing a CPA at the same time. And I never saw her. Like, she didn't have a life. at that point I understood, like I was like, man, either she's really intelligent or really crazy, right? But when you see people, doing these things today, becoming CPAs, and a lot has been said in private conversation, not so much public, but people doing careers just for money rather than doing it because they love it. How important is it to love something like accounting versus getting into it just for money?
I think it is important to love what you're doing, because when you're studying, the requirement to work during the day, study at night, all those things are going to be taxing you. And it's important for you to think that I'm doing this because I really want to get into a career that I like. Now, granted, you could look at it and say, I'm going into a career where I'm going to make lots of money. But I think going forward, when you get into careers where you're controllers and other things, most of the time you don't have a 9-to-5 job. You have a job that requires you to deliver. You have a job that requires you to work extra, whether it be the weekends or whatever. So do something that you like, so that when you're having to stretch yourself, you will enjoy what you're doing and not say to yourself, why did I do this? And when you are producing things that are beneficial to the organization that you're a part of, you can feel proud of saying, well, I helped us do this, or this was the advice that I gave that meant that we did the right thing. So make sure that what you do, you enjoy, because nothing that anybody does these days is 9-to-5. You can think it is, but it's not.
Indeed. Oh, I've learned that recently. How important has your family been? We talk about careers so often. You have a beautiful family. I know some of them, but how important is family in terms of what you've been able to accomplish professionally?
Family is so important. I have to be thankful. I have my husband of 50 years. We just celebrated our anniversary. And some of the things that I've had to do, I've had to just say to him, look, I'm going to be really busy or whatever else, and I need you and the kids, the girls, to, just give me a little space while I'm doing this. And they have. I have my daughters who I've always encouraged to take degrees, take things that are important to them. And as I tell my daughters, I say to everybody out there, touch it once, because you don't have time to do it over again. Just do it right the first time and make decisions. Too often people look at things and they waffle and whatever else. You're wasting your time. Indeed. Make a decision and move on, because that way you have some more time for other things.
Indeed. Before I get to this final question from the audience, I'm going to ask the audience to do us a favor. This is Bermuda Black History. And whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, do us a favor. If you appreciate this conversation today, make sure you give us a like, love, follow, share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues, even some CPAs that you may know. Share this conversation. Do us that favor. And I don't want to be lost. You just said 50 years of marriage. Congratulations on that. Seriously, that is a milestone that I don't think we appreciate enough. Ellen Kate Horton, she says, you were also an excellent athlete of greenhouse at the Barclay Institute back in the day, sprinter and netball player. So you had it going on, madam.
But you know that it's interesting that she said that, and thank you, Alan Kate. Greenhouse was the house. But you know what? When I went to university, the first year I was there, I didn't do anything. I just focused on studying, and then I thought, this is crazy. I've always been able to do sports and other things because it meant that I had to organize myself. So every year thereafter, I did field hockey, I did volleyball, and I ended up graduating as the McGill's Athlete of the Year, because it meant that I had, the more things that you do that you like, you have to organize yourself. And Jamel, I have to say one thing, and I hope you don't mind me saying this. I forgot to acknowledge that I have a grandson, and he and my family are the loves of my life.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that because I forgot to follow up about your grandson once you mentioned your daughter. So my apologies too. Audience, I'm really enjoying this conversation. I wish it didn't have to end, but I'll get to a few more questions. I know I said one more, but this is a question I had, but I'm going to give it to Mark Arthur C. Phillips. Do you fear the advancement of AI, there will be less need for a CPA, like with the advancement of technology, period?
No. What I think, it's funny because I've had this conversation with my grandson who's starting to be an actuary, and we were talking about using AI to do some things that you normally would have done differently. And I think what has to end up happening is that I think the profession will start to say, okay, what can our AI tell me about how to tackle this, or how to use information to the ability of our profession. So I just think that there will be things that will still need to be done. Maybe some of what I will call I used the expression ticking and bopping. That's an old expression from way back. You will do things differently because AI will help you get some of the information and analyze some of the results so that you're using your brain to analyze rather than using as much time to assemble.
This has been awesome, man. I greatly appreciate you accepting our invite, coming on, engaging our audience, and sharing that. And I hope people remember, because Michelle White just put it up as well, touch it once equals commit. Sound advice. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Madam, thank you so much for making time. I hope this is not your last time on the show, because we definitely want to ensure that people are inspired to go and achieve what it is that they would like to do based on your own story. And thank you for being a trailblazer. And I think one of the lessons I've learned from this conversation today is the focus is never to be the first or to be a trailblazer, right? The focus is to really find what it is you want to do and go make it happen. And, who knows? You may end up being a trailblazer, but you may inspire someone else to be one, if not you. So I appreciate you. Thank you, and sending love to you and your family. And again, happy 50 years to yourself and your husband. That's quite, we learned a lot about you today. So thank you for allowing us into your space and coming into our space and engaging with us. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, and wonderful day to everybody else that's out there.
All right. Great, folks. This has been awesome. The Honorable Jeanne Atherden. Folks, please do us a favor. Make sure you share that conversation with your friends, your family, colleagues. I was actually disappointed to see that, and not disappointed at any individual, disappointed that more of us had not known because the information just wasn't there. But if you know anything about this show, if you go on our website and you read, we're not here just for Jamel Hartman's rants. We're here to celebrate and honor people and ensure that if no one else is sharing their stories and their journeys, we are. Do not go anywhere. We're coming back. And I have a trivia question. It's Bermuda Trivia today. And, that question may be in a future Bermuda Trivia edition as well. But don't go anywhere. Stick with us. We're coming back in about 2 minutes, 32 seconds. We'll wrap it up.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Nova's Ark Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
Join us as we celebrate 5 years and 1,000 plus episodes of community conversations on Bermuda's daily talk show. The Daily Hour Gala takes place on April 26th at LF Wade International Airport. For more information and advance tickets, please send an email to admin@bermudacommunications.com. We look forward to celebrating all that's great about our community with all of you.
Right. Who was the first woman to become not just the first female opposition leader in Bermuda, but throughout the entire British Commonwealth?
Dame Lewis Brown Evans.
Hey, buddy. Hun, who was the first woman to serve as opposition leader, not just in Bermuda, but throughout the entire British Commonwealth?
Dame Lewis Brown Evans.
Mason, what did you say?
Dame Lewis Brown Evans.
Dame Lois Brown Evans? Where do you find that?
Mommy playing Bermuda Trivia.
Mommy playing Bermuda Trivia.
Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you. Good job.
It's true. Children are a reflection of their environment. Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Fun with a purpose. To educate, to entertain, to inform, to inspire, to learn, and to enjoy. Bermuda Trivia. All volumes now available at various stores throughout Bermuda. Visit bermudatrivia.com to learn more and follow Bermuda Trivia on your favorite social media platforms.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Thank you on behalf of everyone. Thank you to the Honorable Jeanne Atherden for stopping by and sharing her story. Again, you know, we celebrated Kathy Duffy and Patrick Tannock the other night, and this morning we had the Honorable Jeanne Atherden on. This should not be something that none of us know. We need to be celebrating our achievements and our people on a regular basis. And, you know, again, this show is so much more than us just sharing opinions. It's about, you know, speaking with people who and learning about people in our community who have inspired or set the way for us. This is why I hold so many people in high regard, whether it's Dexter Smith, the first Black editor of the Royal Gazette, or Glenn Blakeney, who is literally the only majority-owned Black media company in Bermuda. Like, these people I hold in very high regard, and we have to share their stories. We have to speak their names. That's why we exist. But thanks again to the Honorable Jeanne Atherden. And if you haven't already, folks, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversations with your friends, your family, your colleagues. It is, thanks again to, well, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, audience, Bermuda Trivia. Here's the question. Let me get my timer ready. All right, let me get my... Okay, we've got everything ready. Who was the first woman, interim or otherwise, to lead the One Bermuda Alliance? It was not Jeanne Atherden. She was the second. It was not Jeanne Atherden. It was not Jeanne Atherden. It was the Honorable Patricia Gordon Pamplin. She was the first woman, interim or otherwise, to lead the One Bermuda Alliance. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I think Sheldon Fox, okay. Yeah, it was Patricia Gordon Pamplin, the first woman to lead in an interim way. But folks, I want to leave you with this, and a lot of the daily inspirations have just been coming from my head as of late. But again, politically, I think a lot of people were upset last week. But here's your daily inspiration for today. There are so many great people and stories among us. And sometimes the information is going to be right before our eyes. It's whether or not we want to look and read. That is going to determine how much we truly know. On that note, don't forget to subscribe on our website, follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, please do make it a great day. We are is out. Peace.